more than 30 books written by Lewis, but his most renowned and popular works are arguably Mere Christianity and the Chronicles of Narnia. There have been 3 major motion pictures made from Narnia Books to date, and more than 100 million copies have been sold. Lewis became ill with nephritis in early June 1961, resulting in blood poisoning. In 1962, he missed the autumn term of Cambridge due to his illness, but his health slowly improved and he returned in April. In early 1963, Lewis appeared to be fully recovered. However, during the summer of 1963, Lewis fell ill and was hospitalised. He suffered a heart attack at 5 p.m. the following day and lapsed into a coma. But he unexpectedly awoke at 2 p.m. the following day. By mid-November, Lewis was diagnosed with end-stage kidney failure. He died a few minutes after collapsing in his bedroom on the 22nd of November, exactly 1 week before his 65th birthday. His funeral took place at the Holy Trinity Church in Oxford. Several years later, on the 9th of April 1973, Warren, his brother, passed away and was buried in the same grave. However, sadly, Lewis's death was almost completely eclipsed by the news of the assassination of US President John F. Kennedy, which took place on the same day. It was approximately 55 minutes after Lewis collapsed. Charles Dickens was an English writer and social critic. Of his time, he was the most popular novelist and remains one of the best-known and most read of English authors. Many of Dickens' novels were turned into films. A Christmas Carol remains especially popular, as well as Oliver Twist and Great Expectations. These are also frequently adapted. Whilst on tour on the 22nd of April 1869, Dickens started to feel unwell and complained of dizziness. It was found that Dickens had suffered a stroke on the 18th of April whilst touring in Chester. Under doctor's orders, he cancelled his tour. After convalescence, Dickens managed to finish his tour, and on the 8th of June 1870, Dickens suffered another stroke at his home. Sadly, he never regained consciousness, and the next day he died. Dickens wished for a quiet, inexpensive funeral and to be buried at Rochester Cathedral. However, he was laid to rest at Poets' Corner of Westminster Abbey. David Gest was born to a Jewish family in Los Angeles and grew up in Southern California. He was an American producer and television personality. Gest married Liza Minnelli on March 16, 2002 and separated in July 2003. In 2009, Gest sold his Memphis mansion to make an offer on a 5-bedroom Victorian townhouse in Cambridge in England. The owners, however, pulled the property off the market and Gest rented a 3-bedroom house at St John's Wood. Gest went on to finish 4th in the 2006 series of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and went on to appear in Celebrity Big Brother in 2016 in the UK. He was elected to leave the show after 13 days due to medical reasons. Gest, 62, was found dead in his room at the Four Seasons Hotel in East London's Canary Wharf district on April 12, 2016. According to the police, there were no suspicious circumstances surrounding his death. The cause of death was later determined to be a stroke. Gest's funeral was held at Golders Green Crematorium in North London on April 29, 2016. Bernie Winters, the younger brother of comedian Mike Winters, was the comic foil of the double act Mike and Bernie Winters. The two brothers split up in 1978 and Bernie hosted his own comedy show called Bernie. Winters often performed solo, but sometimes he had the assistance of his St. Bernard dog, Schnorbitz. Several months after being sick and having stomach pains, he underwent a 9-hour surgery on his stomach on the 14th of August 1990, where cancer was removed. Although he was never made aware, Winters' condition was already terminal and he died at the London clinic on the 4th of May 1991, aged just 60. On the 8th of May, Bernie was cremated at Golders Green Crematorium in London. His ashes were buried in the Garden of Remembrance. Kipling was an English journalist, short story writer, poet and novelist. He was born in British India, which inspired much of his work. Kipling's works of fiction included the Jungle Book trilogy. Kipling kept writing until the early 1930s, but at a slower pace and with less success than before. A magazine went on to incorrectly announce that he was dead, to which he wrote, "I've just read that I am dead. Don't forget to delete me from your list of subscribers." However, a hemorrhage occurred in his small intestine on the night of the 12th of January 1936. Despite surgery, he died less than a week later on the 18th of January, at the age of 70. He died of a perforated duodenal ulcer. Kipling's cousin, Prime Minister Stanley Baldwin, carried the casket, which was covered by a Union Jack. In northwest London, Kipling was cremated at Golders Green Crematorium and his ashes were buried at Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey, next to Dickens and Hardy's tombs.